guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming, and some of you may on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Shelter. So y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alrighty. I can't keep doing this. They're all perfectly fine, and they will keep climbing. They have to be put down. But it's not something I can do on my own. On even grounds, I could fight against maybe one of them, but for a whole group? I need someone stronger. I need... Rune! Help me! But of course he's not going to come. He must be fighting that giant monster far away. He's the only one who could possibly have a chance at putting that thing down. I have to keep my ground here for as long as I can. Behind me, a monster is already on the roof. It's charging at me. Behind it, I can see yet two more pairs of clawed paws reaching for the ledge. There was a charge of feline mana in the air. What can I do with it? Try to make a hole in the roof and hide inside? I don't have the time for that. The monster leaps at me and I jump away in a hurry. I try to swing my mace at it, but it only swooshes through the air. The dirty abomination skits over the metal and snaps its jaws at me. The next swing of my mace drives the spike through the top of its wrinkled snout. I keep those snapping teeth away from me while I dodge to the side and drive my knee into its tense shoulder. It barely budges. I won't be able to push it off the ledge. I have to kill it somehow. Can I cast any ember with the mana available in the air? Could I even pull off activating mana of that intensity right now? I dislodge the mace out of the monster's snout and swing it at the shadow falling at me from the sky. It hit the wide, flared snout of the winged bastard. My shoulder pierces with pain when the creature claws onto it, trying to keep hold. I instantly follow up with a strike at its meaty wing's membrane. The wing rips and the screeching horror flails in fury, losing its balance. I leap underneath to free myself. The claws scratch over my bone and cut through my flesh and skin, but I manage to break free. Oh god. Really injured, man. As I hoped, it released avian mana. That's good! I absorb it along with the feline mana and burn them both at the same time. My wildly augmented reflexes allow me to avoid claws and fangs of three different monsters. I'm surrounded, but now I have a way out. With the full strength in my legs, I jump. And fall. Damn it! I wasn't able to activate the avian's mana ability in time. A giant bony hand swiftly shoots in my direction. The long fingers wrap around my arms and chest, and I get crushed so hard I can feel blood being squeezed out of my wounds. No, get out, now! Chainbreaker! I push hard with my shoulders, weakening the grip around me with the combined raw aspects of independence and release granted by the two foreign manas burning inside me. I slip out and duck just before another monster could bite my head off. Finally, coated in the gravity-defying power of avian mana, I leap forward. The monsters try to claw and bite me, but they're too slow. I see another one standing in my path. I make a front flip and kick myself up to the sky. I flee from the group of monsters on the roof, but I know nowhere is truly safe. They're everywhere. Second now, water time. The surface of Shelter is littered with them right now, and I can still see the dogs on the ground floor struggling with more. I can't float for long. And even here in the air, it's not much better. I see 5 or 6 flying shadows swooping at me. I twist my body and roundhouse kick the first one at its long neck, putting all of the feline mana inside me into that strike. Its weakening power makes the monster tense up and it starts to fall. I grab onto its wing and get dragged down as well, escaping the claws of another beast. It's starting to get even more dangerous here on the ground. I step onto the temporarily paralyzed monster and use it as a platform to jump in the direction of the turret. I don't know what I can accomplish there, but at least it's vacant right now. I feel the power of avian mana dwindling. I have to land before it runs out completely. For the last seconds of my flight, I can feel the gravity quickly reclaiming its hold on me. I spread my arms and use the club to hook myself around the long, giant barrel. My arm hurts terribly, but as long as it's not ripped off, I'm not going to let go of the mace. I hook it around the barrel with all my strength, and I try to use my legs to slow down my fall. But it's too slippery. The metal base of the turret's structure is drawing close alarmingly fast. And I bash against the metal floor. I lose my breath and everything goes dark for a moment. I hear my mace tinkling away over the metal, and then it falls off the platform. I'm still alive. But what am I going to do now? I even lost the hold of the Saurian mana charge I absorbed to heal my wounds. I can't focus enough to reclaim it. At least it's quiet here for right now. The sounds of the monsters are distant, but they're coming. All of them are running here. I'm out of options. This whole plan depended on everyone succeeding perfectly at their separate tasks. It didn't account for failure at any of those stages. We weren't thorough enough. I should have ordered one of the dogs to come with me. But who? Who needed someone fast and clever to put the emergency power back up so I could fix the turret? That was necessary to save us. We needed someone trying to keep our people safe. Even if we protected our home, it wouldn't matter if even a single dog had to lose a life for that. And even at that, with Baxter's loss, I've already failed. We needed someone to keep the gardens safe. Without them, we couldn't keep our autonomy to such an extent. We couldn't afford to become dependent on the royal capital again. I wanted to keep everything we had. And by refusing to let go of even a single thing, we're going to lose everything in the end. I'm too tired to even be scared of my own end anymore. I'm getting what was coming for me. I'm only terrified of the thought of what's going to happen to the dogs. Without me, they'll have no choice but to fight all the monsters until there's no one left standing on either one of the sides. But first, they will have to realize there's no help coming. They're going to stay on defensive for hours, waiting for me to fix shelter. How long is it going to take them to figure out that I'm dead? I would be surprised if they waited forever, trusting to be saved any moment soon. They will all die, waiting for a miracle that had already been devoured by the monsters. I wish I could let them know that no rescue is coming. Tell them all that they need to fight and defeat the enemy with all they have, or escape, not to wait. But there is a way. I can still hear the dogs fighting the monsters down below. They're there, all the way down on the ground. If I jump there before the monsters can devour me, the dogs will learn there is no hope. They will all know to either fight or flee. Maybe one of my closest friends will even achieve a blaze to the experience of seeing me dead. That would give them an actual chance against them. That will probably be less painful than whatever those walking nightmares are going to do to me. Is this the only option I have? I stand up and look at the horizon. There's still no sight of the sun. This is going to be a long night for them. The monsters are getting closer, but they won't be able to stop me. I take a deep breath and start limping towards the edge of the metal platform. It's gonna be okay. I probably won't even feel it. Just don't stop. Don't stop. This is the best I can do for them. It's going to be harsh, but I know they'll be able to make the best out of it. After all my screw-ups, this is the only path I can see. Every single decision I made today led us to this. And I have run out of chances. But if I had yet another chance, is there anything I could possibly change? Would I accept Rune's sword training offer and learn how to defend myself against the monsters a bit better? Or maybe I would be able to find some help among the other dogs if I went to Max's concert. And if I found a way to make friends with Teak. How would everything change for everyone, I wonder? But there are so many things that I could have done better. I've made so many mistakes and missed out on so many opportunities. Now, as I'm taking my final few steps towards the edge, weighed by regrets and those countless what-ifs, I wonder if I had another chance, would I really do things differently? The end? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being alive. No, I would not. What the hell was I thinking? Yes, every stupid decision I've made has led me to this moment. And when I chose to listen to my father and cross the border to this country on my own, I survived and made it through. This is my home now. When I chose to travel north, led by nothing but presumptions and vague hunches, I almost froze to death, but I met my best friend here. When we decided to settle here and revive shelter, we knew we could very well be wasting our time, but we still did it. We came to these cold, dead walls and filled them with warmth. We gave shelter a second life. We gave a second life to hundreds of dogs who came here. None of that would come to be if I gave up at any point in my journey. Yes, I've made a bunch of stupid decisions in my life, but giving up was never one of them. I turn around. There's close to a 100-meter drop just a step behind me. A pack of over a dozen monsters is closing onto me. I don't have a weapon. And so what? I ready my fists. I bare my teeth at them. I growl at them, to try to scare them like they growl and scare us. Then a thought crosses my mind. It makes me break my growl, and instead puts a wide grin on my face. I've always felt the monsters acted differently around me. The way they look at me and how agitated they always are in my presence. It's not quite like with the dogs. Even my friends mentioned something about that in the past, but I never put too much thought into that. Now I get it. I don't need to try scaring the monsters. They have always been terrified of me. Come on! Take on a fucking ancient if you can! I try to run towards the charging monsters. The pain in my legs and my ribs makes me stumble and I fall on one knee. Get up! I do stand up and I can feel something tearing and bleeding under my skin, but I stand up. I know I can't match them without any tools. This is hopeless. But I'm still not going to fall without a fight. Even if it's hopeless, I can't forfeit my life. Yes, I'm afraid of dying. But even more than that, I don't want to make him cry ever again. Two of the monsters jump at me with their wide-open maws, and the clawed paws are ready to slash and tear. A winged shadow is descending over my head. I'm sorry. Burry. There's a flash, then a deafening blast of crushed bones. The two monsters that jumped at me get swept over the edge like two sacks of meat fruit. The monster diving over my head gets grabbed by one of its winged taloned legs, and then slammed against the metal edge so hard its spine breaks like a twig. A heavy hand lands on top of my head, and I feel the pure healing effect of sorry and regeneration flowing through my whole body. Forgive me for being so late, Luke. I see Burry's smiling muzzle. My mind is blank, and I'll let out a pathetic whine. How? When we had spoken about the knife earlier, you said you did not remember what the avian canine ember was. It is the unbreakable echelon. The avians use that magic to blink towards their comrades. You were right, this knife is quite a treasure. It lets me use an ember of the avians. Okay, do you have to throw it, or...? Burry lets go of my head, dashes under a monster lunging at us, and then he uppercuts it with such an impact that the creature flies over my head and falls over the edge. When I squeeze my fists in a defensive reflex, I finally realize something weird. Burry doesn't hold his knife. It's in my own hand. Since when? We do not have much time. Let us escort you to the control tower swiftly. The emergency power isn't back on yet. I can't do anything there without it. Two more monsters jump at us. Burry grabs and swings a lanky winged creature against the floor, making it splatter like a bag of eggs. He immediately follows up with a punch against the other's jaw. I snatch that opportunity to drive the knife into its throat. I feed it a hefty charge of mana into the blade, and the monster's whole head explodes into a bloody rose of 100 slashes bursting from the inside. That cannot be true. There was one dim light in the corridors when I ran to you. It's been up for a while. What? Then... My mind works in overdrive. What does that mean? Did Max manage to put it back online while I was fighting against the monsters, or... Crap, I'm such a moron! We've had a bunch of blackouts in the past, but never specifically because the sky's a blaze turret, so I never had to enter the control tower during one. I forgot some important technicalities. The turret gets charged with the power flowing through the whole shelter, but the control tower itself is one of the sections of shelter with extra emergency measures. It can be powered by the regular energy system of shelter, but it can also use its own separate source. I vaguely remember switching to that mode because of some disturbances during the setups. What if I never reconnected it to the general system? What if its internal source just never turned on for some reason? I don't know anymore, but I feel that's it. I'll bet my ass I can make it work if I only have another chance. Burry, you need to get me back to the tower. Certainly! Two more monsters rush at us. Burry kicks away the one jumping at me, sending it overboard. At the same time, I slash at the eyes of the feral creature charging at Burry. Just like when I was cutting the celery before, the blade reaches way further than its actual length. Even way further now, since I know exactly what's the effect I'm going for. The monster's skull flaps open like a piece of fruit, and the heavy body skids over the metal surface, leaving a long smudge of black ichor behind. This is an insanely powerful weapon in human hands. However, I'm starting to feel a backlash on my body and spirit. My whole arm starts to feel heavy and twitch a little. I should probably switch it on my left hand and share it with Burry. He's strong, but I know he hasn't been exercising too much recently. He can make up for that with his pure ability of efficient mana burning, but I know he can't do that forever. He could use a weapon. The monsters have learned to not approach us one by one. Instead, they start to pace around us, waiting for more to join, and there are a lot of them coming. Right now, with the edge of shelter behind us, we only need to worry about protecting our front, plus any of the flying monsters. But if we want to get to the control tower now, we'll need to fight all of them at once. Ready, Burry? Absolutely. Let us finally bring this to an end. We both take deep breaths of the cold, clear air. and let out loud howls, echoing all around us and taking the monsters aback. I let the canine mana burn inside my body as I searched for the connection to my friend's mind. It's been so long. In normal circumstances, I don't think I would be able to pull off the canine racial ability. I could do any other with relative ease, but there was something blocking me from the comfortable use of canine mana. My mind wasn't in the right place. I wasn't compatible with the aspect of unity. Canine powers are all about interpersonal relations, and I didn't feel like I belonged in this pack. Now I know how wrong all of us were. Me about being unloved and weak, and them about feeling stupid and powerless. But it's not a big deal. It's okay for us to feel or be weak and stupid sometimes. In true unity, we will make up for what we lack. As we are weak alone, but strong as a pack. Shelter was being overrun by the monsters. Both on the ground and inside, the dogs were struggling to defend themselves against those disturbing amalgamations of fur, scales, and feathers. They strained themselves past their limits to protect their lives and home. Powers that lay dormant inside their souls finally found the path to manifest in the face of crisis. Canine potential reaches beyond merely their own selves. With every desperate howl, more dogs realized their true might and unity with others. Then the warriors on the ground outside heard a different, distant call. A canine howl and a human shout, coming from way up from the top deck of Shelter. Alright, y'all, I'm going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go get ready for work. I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!